excited.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Big Brother 17th wrap-up show on the stream.tv. There's a lot to discuss, but first we have a very special guest. We have half of Clelly on Skype with us. We have Clay Honeycutt. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing great. Thank y'all for having me.
Of course, thank you for joining us.
You got the memo to wear blue?
Sorry?
You got the memo to wear blue?
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah.
So
Well
we
done.
have
What's up, y'all?
so much to discuss. Who wants to ask a question first? Because everyone was saying, I have a question. Who wants to go
I guess we
first?
shouldn't have talked first.
Ladies.
I know, right?
Jen's Clay's biggest fan, so why don't we
Jen,
give
you
you
do
the
it
I have
honors?
a question. I just asked him all my questions. Oops.
All right, I have a question then.
okay.
So, in the game, you left instead of Shelly. And do you think that if Shelly would have been voted out, despite your efforts, that you would still be in the game?
It's hard to say, honestly. There's a whole bunch of what could have happened, what would have happened. I think I would have been targeted that next week again, just like she was. I'm not sure if I would have stayed or not, but you really can't say. If I would have stayed, would I have stayed in the game longer than she would have? I really don't know the answer to that.
When you left the house and you went home, were you able to watch all of the episodes and catch up on everything to see what was going on with the stuff that you didn't know?
I honestly have not watched any episodes since I've been evicted. So
Nice.
the
Really?
episodes, yeah, the episodes when I was in the house, I haven't went back and watched them. I've watched the ones on TV since I've been out of the house. However, I just haven't brought myself to watch the episodes yet. I'm waiting to where I can sit down and get into it. I might have to wait till after the show.
Right.
Or
So,
until-
knowing
oh,
what you know now, who do you think has the strongest game?
Ooh, I think Vanessa has so much influence and control over the house. She showed that when she was on the block with Shelly, when everybody wanted Vanessa out, and it was almost a done deal that she was going to leave, and then she ended up flipping the house, and Shelly left. Her winning HOH this week really solidified her spot as far as making it to the finals, and I think this week is going to be huge for her, and depending on who she puts up on the block, if it pans out, she could be one of the final two.
Oh, I completely agree, because we were talking about this last week when they wanted to backdoor her, and we all said that everyone's going to take the same stance that they did last week, as if the next person's going to get her out because they don't want the blood in her hands, and that's going to lead her right to the final two.
Yep, exactly.
Were you surprised by anyone's games now that you are watching the shows live? Are you surprised by anyone?
Surprised. I was surprised that Johnny Mac was a super fan. He really had me fooled. Game-wise, I think I was surprised about Steve. Steve's been playing the game for a while now, and I thought he was just kind of the naive super fan that really didn't know what he was doing. But I think from watching Steve since being out of the house, everything he does, everything he says is very strategic, and it's very calculated with how he interacts with people, what he says to people, and he's playing a really good game, I think, so far.
No, I totally agree.
I agree.
And if you were to go back in the house, what is the one thing you'd want to change, or if there's someone else you want to align with, who would it be?
Looking back now, my dream alliance would probably be with Johnny Mac, Becky, myself, and Shelly. I think that would have been good. And then we could have kind of played with James, Meg, and Jason if he was in the game. But going back, I probably, if I could change anything, would have stuck with the plan to backdoor Austin and keep Jason. Jason, me and Shelly really did not want him out. So we did agree to the plan to get him out, and we were essentially the swing votes to get him out. However, Vanessa had that plan in motion. We supported Vanessa. We were in alliance with her. So we were going to do whatever she wanted to do. And looking back at it, we should have trusted our gut instinct and kept Jason. Because we, as far as Jason, Meg, myself, and Shelly, were talking about a Final Four deal that week. Or the week before. So I probably would have stuck with the plan to backdoor Austin and keep Jason.
There's always in Big Brother, there's always like showmances or a couple that you want to get out, and unfortunately you and Shelly are one of them. Do you understand why the house is not targeting Liz and Julia or Liz and Austin more?
I think they weren't at first because Austin, Liz, and Julia were complete. They were just like camouflage in this game. No one knew where they were. They couldn't play the game. They couldn't win anything. And they weren't threats. And at the beginning of the game, and why we aligned with them, as far as myself, Shelly, and Vanessa, was because they were numbers. They were a trio, and they would pretty much vote any way that we wanted them to vote. That's why we wanted them in an alliance. So now they've kind of carried themselves to this point in the game, and they're winning now, and they're becoming more and more strong each and every week. People now are afraid to target them because they are a trio, they are winning, and the first person that targets them, they still have to deal with the wrath of the other two if that person, one of them, gets out.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that if there's another double eviction coming up this week, this possibility they've hinted, is the time to take them out?
I think that would be the perfect time. I think this week, I think Vanessa should put up Austin and Liz and backdoor Julia. I think she should take that swing, get them out, because if you look at it, if they start getting out James, Meg, Johnny Mac, or Steve, the twins in Austin are going to be more loyal to themselves over Vanessa. They're not loyal to Vanessa. They're just kind of carrying her through the game, keeping her around. But if Vanessa was smart, I think her biggest game move right now would be to put up Austin and Liz and hopefully get one of them out, because Johnny Mac's alone. Johnny Mac wants to work with somebody. He offered to work with Vanessa before he left. I don't know if it's sincere or not, but Vanessa can easily work with Johnny Mac and Steve, take out the twins, and then you have James and Meg, which Meg is not going to win anything, as everyone knows. And then all you have to worry about is James. So I think people are going to let the twins in Austin coast a little too long, and I already said it. I have a bad feeling that one of the twins is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said Julia's winning.
You did. We should say, because normally we never do spoilers on the show, but all the super fans out there, we're sure you guys already looked it up because we always do. We can't wait. But Johnny Mac came back in the house, and Vanessa is now HOH. So if that didn't make sense, what Clay was saying, now we all know. But it will be a very exciting week.
Yes.
Anyone else?
I just had a question. Do you regret not fighting harder to stay? I mean, I know you had already made a decision with Shelly for you to go home, but do you regret that, being at home now?
I don't at all, not one bit.
I
was back and forth that week of deciding what I wanted to do for myself, and just the person that I am, I couldn't. I mean, I'm sure you've heard this 100 times. I couldn't campaign against her. I couldn't take that away from her. One of us had to go home. I have a great family to go home to, and being on the show, walking in day one, was already a blessing. That was enough for me. Of course, I would love to win it. I would love to go as far or further than I did, but it was an unfortunate situation, and one of us had to leave. I didn't want to be the one that took that from her, so I don't regret it. I made my decision, and I stand by it.
You are a true Prince Charming.
Oh, such a gentleman.
Thank you.
When that week was coming up, where was like the cutoff week to like go to home or go to jury, weren't you guys like, hey, just please let us like go to jury together? Like, how did that conversations go down, like, so that you guys could have been together?
Oh, we threw out everything we could throw out, well, for the most part. And yeah, we mentioned that because we saved Austin, and one of the reasons why we saved Austin was because we didn't want him to be in the same situation that we were in. He came to us and pleaded to us that he's in love with Liz, and just please don't let them be separated before jury. And us being a showmans, we understood what he was talking about, and we were thinking, man, that would be terrible if we were in that situation. So I'm not saying that had a lot to do with it, but it had a little bit of influence as far as, you know what, we're going to support Vanessa. Kind of reassured us to stick with the plan to get Jason out. But at the end of the day, we ended up being in the same situation. And of course, we pleaded and said, look, just one more week, keep us together. But they weren't having that.
Yeah, I was so bummed. I was like, no, why would you separate them like 1 week and then the next week, like just the wrong 2 weeks? Any other weeks, like before or after?
I know. It was tough, but.
Are you guys, are you excited to like see her? Like, what has been going on in your head since you guys have been separated?
It's been, the first 2 weeks were tough because first off, the first week when I left, being separated so abruptly was difficult as you know, Jen, living in that house, you're with somebody 24/7 and then you're just cut off from them. But I got to go home, got to see my family, and I could still see her on the live feeds, which was, gave me a little bit of, put me a little bit at ease. But once she left that following week, then there was like a true disconnect because I couldn't see her on the live feeds, couldn't see her at all. And it kind of made me miss her even more. And I'm just counting down the days to finale right now.
Aw, you're so cute.
Were you sitting on the couch extremely nervous watching the HOH competition and the live feeds after knowing Shelly was competing to get back in the house?
Oh, was I nervous? I was extremely nervous. I knew that she wouldn't let go of the rope for nothing. And the live feeds cut out and they came back on and then she was off. I don't know what happened. So that was upsetting, but I think, everything happens for a reason. So there was a reason why that she fell off and she's not back in the house. But either way, proud of her. Just can't wait for finale.
Good. Oh, I'm sure you can. All right. Well, we have more with Clay coming up towards the end of the show. You're going to be back answering some of our YouTube questions, right?
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Clay. We'll be right back with you.
All right, cool.
All right. So now let's get into the whole week. We kind of are all over the place now, and people might be a little confused.
Yeah,
but
we have to title this one "Spoilers."
Yeah, spoilers, definitely.
Spoilers.
So not much really changed in the house between this week and last week. Austin was HOH this week, so the power's still with he, Liz, and Julia.
Yes.
Did we feel like kind of anticlimactic about this?
A little bit. This week
Yes,
was sort
of
of like, eh.
course.
Yeah, it's all blending together.
Yes.
It's like they really are the Oz twins. Like they're just one word.
it
They're just
really
all the
is.
same.
Oh.
Same thing, nothing new. Just
If someone doesn't take them out this week, or if there's a double eviction this week, then
They won.
They won. They have the
Winning.
votes right now
Top
that they
three.
can make it to top three, the three of them.
Totally.
Yes.
So he meeting Austin, he was talking with Steve saying, I'm thinking maybe I'll put you up as a pawn. Steve, originally he said absolutely not, and then he kind of warmed up to the idea, but he said the only way he'll be put up as a pawn is if he's not up with Johnny Mac. So Austin puts up Johnny Mac and Steve. Was
Of
this
course.
smart on Austin's part? Because there wasn't really any backlash, really.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was
I mean,
best
I guess
for his
it just
game.
showed them that like they were more aligned with James and Meg, which I thought was kind of an odd thing to like show because he was like, oh, I don't want them to think I'm not with them, but then it's like, well, you are because you didn't put them up, and I don't know.
Well, as players that have played the game and we were in the house, Jen and I both know that people that you like are very important, even if you're not strongly aligned with them. So I guess that's what he's going off of. He
Yeah.
really enjoys their company. It's like, but we don't see a lot of that on the show.
I think from a game perspective, you have to figure that of the four of them, James is most likely to win competitions later down the road. So they want to not have to worry about James backdooring them because he could win. Johnny Mac and Steve are probably not going to win those competitions.
Yeah.
And so for a game perspective, either
Yeah.
way, there probably wouldn't have been a much backlash on any side of the four because they know they don't have the power.
To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that James has stayed in the competition as long as he has. He won the first HOH. He's won another HOH, right? So he's kind of a stronger competitor. So I don't know
Yes.
why they're
I
not
think he's
gunning
going
for-
this week.
You do.
Yeah.
Really?
You don't think so? You really think Vanessa's gonna put up the twins or Austin?
No.
No. Who else is going then?
I don't. I'm really torn. I really don't know because I feel like Vanessa could make the game move because I really think she thinks those are gonna be the ones that are gonna turn their backs on her, whereas the other side of the house will try to align with her because she is a strong player.
I think that now that Johnny Mac is back in the house, this is the time
He and
to
Vanessa will
he
work
needs to
together.
get in Vanessa's ear really hard this week because she's really emotional after everything that happened, and he needs to let her know that she's at the bottom of that alliance, and if she stays at the bottom, she's gonna go home.
I feel like they've said that and she
Right.
knows that and she's admitted to it, but she just like doesn't want to believe it or she feels like she still feels safer
And
with
that's
them.
why really getting after her this week, really
Yeah.
just keep plugging at her and saying, hey, listen, you're at the bottom, you're at the bottom, you're at the bottom.
Yeah, you're at the top of my
she's
list.
She's already emotionally breaking. You can tell in the last few weeks. She's become more and more emotional. And maybe that's gameplay. Maybe that's like what she's trying to be like
more and more,
seen.
I feel like, yeah.
But it's become excessive. Like it's almost like, Vanessa, shut up.
Right.
So it's the time to get in her ear and play on those emotions and try to get one of the twins out.
Question for Jen and Ashley. Did you guys know when the second double eviction will be coming up, or is it?
You have no idea, actually.
The second double eviction is very hard to
Okay.
tell when it's going to be.
Because-
And
like,
it's not
I was-
even, there was not even them, all that, my year didn't even have that.
Okay.
That's
it?
something new that I believe they just started. Super
Oh, okay.
fans can
Since they've
please
added
correct me if I'm
more
wrong, but they've
contestants.
definitely, they're adding
And
more
in the recent
contestants, more
years.
double evictions.
And they're
I didn't
adding
even
people
think
back
someone was
in.
going to come back, but of course I was wrong.
I was wrong too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
apologize.
this couch wins.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because where I
someone
was
came
going with
back.
that is, if you guys knew when the second double eviction was, maybe Vanessa wouldn't have tried that hard because now that she's exempt from participating in the HOH for the double eviction, she could be the one to go
Easily.
home.
Exactly, and that's why you have to strategize. It's so important at the end of
love
the
hearing
game
this.
to really strategize which HOHs you win, because you got to know when you're not going to be able to play for the next HOH, then you're gone.
Right.
Yeah. Well, she felt very vulnerable because of the POV, how they told her she's going to get backdoored. So she probably felt like she really did have to win this one. 'cause
POVs.
She probably really
yeah.
did.
Win all day.
I mean, a lot of people would have probably put her up.
Yeah, POV is more important than an HOH.
Yeah, no, for
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on with the show, I want to know what happened because what happened to the Zing and Zing bot? I was very underwhelmed, very disappointed in this. I didn't feel like it was anything special, really, when he came into the house.
I felt like Zebot was a little mean.
Well, Zingbot's always mean.
Well, do you remember
like,
your Zing?
extra
Were you there
mean.
for it?
Yeah, of course. Zebot called me stupid or something, which I'm not.
Like, I don't know,
Maybe
he
not
said
at
I was
all.
dumb, but I don't really remember. Zing.
I'm just confused. So did Zingbot, last year he had a baby, right? And this year he's like single? So he got divorced? I'm so
yeah,
confused.
he had a baby.
Like, what
they
is
had a
this
baby on my
Zingbot?
season.
Yeah, he had a baby
That
your
was 3
season.
years ago.
Oh, so
Zingbot
now he's
had a baby.
single.
And
Is
they're
widow?
really
Like, what's
promoting
going
Zingbot.
on?
It's like, okay, we get it. He has a Twitter.
I know.
I love you, CBS. I
did
love
we,
you, but
did we
still.
Zingbot official? Did we do that?
I think I tweeted them a little bit. I didn't get a response.
They were. If you go to his page, he has zings of all the people.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
he's
okay.
zinged a bunch of people over the last week. He did Frankie Grande like 7 times. So.
his Zing was the best last season.
Oh yeah,
So, like,
Your
he's in the
Sister's
shadow of his sister. That was the
Yes.
best. All right, so enough about Zingbot because
Moving
it wasn't
on.
that great as we're talking about the other scenes with Zingbot, but it was a Zingbot Power of Veto in which Austin, Julia, Meg, Johnny Mac, Steve, and Vanessa all competed to distinguish which facial features went to each person. And I was playing along and I thought it was hard.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone.
It was hard.
Those noses, no
Those
one.
ones always trip me up.
I mean, really though, like they take the pictures from the memory wall. It's not like a random photo they take. So like people study that memory wall and it's like just for that contest.
Exactly. It's different when you're actually in the house and you're sitting at that kitchen table and there's nothing else to do. You're examining people's faces on the memory wall, for sure.
Vanessa, she ultimately won the Power of Veto, which it was the best for her again because they were talking about her being backdoored. So it was perfect for her, but it kind of brought her into not really knowing what to do if she should use the POV on Steve or Johnny Mac. And she was talking with them, didn't want to hurt her game. She's very worried about getting blood on her hands. She ended up not using the Power of Veto and keeping the nominations the same. But there was a whole blow up with her and Steve.
Yeah.
And would you have, because Steve outed out or Johnny Mac outed out the Scamper Squad to Vanessa to get
I thought
Vanessa
that was a
out.
good move.
You
though.
did?
That was
Okay.
a very
I
good
agree.
move,
Yeah,
and he
because
was just helping
put up, and they were
himself.
put up. Like, what
No, I
else
agree.
is there? Like, that was her last opportunity to get one of them safe for sure.
Exactly, and for them to attack him was just wrong. He was only playing the game for
Yeah.
himself, just like everyone else is playing the game for themselves.
I feel like the Ost twins are like acting like everyone's playing for them.
Right,
And
it's
that
like,
anyone
oh,
that's
sorry,
not,
it's
it's
not
like
your show.
confusing. Like,
Right.
oh wait, why did you go out and do that? Well, because you nominated us, so obviously you're not aligned with us. What do you mean the final, like the 5 people? We're two of us are on the block.
I'm really glad that he did that to
Like,
Liz. Like that was
It's just like, what are they thinking?
with him doing that to Liz. I was like so happy that someone finally was like, "Listen, you put me up. Like it's your fault that I did this.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
forced me into a
Yeah.
situation where I have to do these things to protect my game." You know, and I keep hoping that someone's gonna blow up in Vanessa. Like especially like when Steve was getting railed on by her. It's like, Steve, you hurt me so bad, and it's so terrible what you did to me. What about what you've done to us?
Exactly. Well, she's just playing mind games with them at this point.
They're scared of
And
her.
I want Johnny Mac. I don't know if you guys agree, but do you feel like just a little bit he's feeling a bit defeated?
100%.
A little bit.
Yeah, and it's like it's dulling his sparkle, and he's just such a beautiful person. He has this quirky personality, and I just want him to stay energized because it's getting towards the end of the game. Like you can do it, Johnny Mac.
As you guys can tell, we're very passionate and heated about this. So let us know your comments, opinions, questions for us. Use hashtag BB17AS on Twitter and let us know. And let's get to eviction night because, unfortunately, Johnny Mac was evicted. And I was so disappointed about this because he and, as you guys know, Vanessa are my top 2 to win. I was extremely disappointed.
I don't know. I like Steve and Johnny Mac, so I was kind of like, whatever.
And props to Steve's speech.
I know.
Oh
it
my
was
God,
so
yes.
funny.
For
Steve was so
him.
cute. I loved
That
it.
speech
Oh,
was
it was
great.
perfect. And especially since what happened with him and Vanessa, I was just proud of him for coming back with just such a great speech. I loved it.
I totally agree.
But I feel like you could tell it really like came from his heart. Like,
Yes.
he was like, he really just meant it. And like, it was cool. Like, he really is like evolving as a person because of the house.
Unlike Austin's speech with the Judas, like, his was really
Yeah.
forced. Like,
I know.
like, what are you? You're not on WWE
can't
anymore. You don't need to be up there
Judas.
performing. So at least Steve's speech to me felt like genuine and.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to be right back with your Twitter and YouTube questions. Make sure you're typing in below if you're watching on YouTube. Clay will be right back with us to answer them for you. So remember, hashtag BB17AS. We'll be right back.
Woo! Yay.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
This is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's going to be like hurricane. Whoa.
Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone,
Hold on.
bro.
The more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are going to be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell them, go ahead and turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey.
All right, so we're back. Jen, Ashley, Ryan, and I, we are all back. We have Clay back on Skype. We have some YouTube questions for Clay. Make sure you guys are commenting below. Ryan.
Yo, hey Clay.
What's up, y'all?
First, quick shout out to Grace, Carlo, Sheena, Pat, all the people on our YouTube chat, Michael. Hey, so thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate your comments and watching us live. So the question on everyone's mind is, once the game is over, when are you taking Shelly on your first date?
When am I gonna take her on our first date? We don't have a date set yet because once she gets out of the house, I don't think it's gonna be so crazy for her, just like they were for me. I'm sure she's gonna want to go home, back to Georgia, spend time with her family, but I'm planning on maybe a week or two after she gets back home and she kind of settles down and readjusts to the real world.
Could you see yourself moving to where she lives or vice versa?
Oh.
Too soon to tell?
Too soon? Too soon.
For sure, too soon. And I'm a huge family guy, as some of y'all know, and it would be really hard for me to move away from my family. And I know it is for her too. But again, that's way down the road. If we get to that bridge, we'll cross it at the time. But right now, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right. So Clay, if you could play the game again, what would you do differently?
I think I answered it earlier, and I think I would just stick with the plan to backdoor Austin and get out Austin and not Jason. That would have been my original. I would have stuck with that, followed through with it. I think the game would have been a lot different if I would have stuck to that plan.
What about if you were to play like a different season? Like, would you have a different game plan going in?
You know, I tell everybody this. They ask me, can you prepare for this show? And you really can't. You think you have an idea, you think you have it figured out, but you really don't until you get into the house. And depending on who's in the house with you, depending on a lot of different things, you really can't have a game plan. I think I would play the same way, honestly. Just I would probably stick with one group of people and stay with them the whole time. And I wouldn't try to play every side of the house. Like, I probably should have stuck with James and that side initially because James did offer me a final two the first day. And I've always liked James, had a good feeling about James. However, I kind of got stuck, me and Shelly got stuck playing the middle a little bit too long and probably 1 week too long. And that's where Jason went home.
So this final question comes from Bama Fox. Being from Texas, I know how you feel about Bama. But who entertained you the most in the house?
Entertained me the most? James, I would say James. He's a little prankster, and he's a funny guy, honestly. And
Did he ever prank you?
He never pranked me, but he would always prank easy targets like Steve and Liz and Julia. So those were the funniest ones. I enjoyed watching him scurry around the house and do his little pranks. And honestly, I'm looking forward to hanging out with him outside the house.
Perfect. Awesome. Clay, thank you again so much for joining us this morning. Wish you the best of luck on everything. Hopefully we can meet in person soon.
Thanks, Clay.
For sure. Awesome. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Clay.
Yeah,
See you at
thanks,
the
Clay.
finale.
Bye, y'all. Y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so who else are we going to thank in the YouTube chat? Do we have any other viewers
Oh man,
for you?
let me get back in the YouTube chat and I can talk all kinds of stuff. We got Jeff up in the YouTube chat, Jess Penguin's up in the YouTube chat, Angel Chick, Michael, Lauren, Pat. Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Appreciate all your questions and for watching us live.
Awesome.
Best.
We're going to bring the show to Jen.
Yeah, let's
going up
look
on
at
Twitter?
your Twitter. What do we got? We got from Jen Ken 54. Vanessa is going to sneak by and go to the final two. Yeah.
That's what we were saying all day today.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
No one's going to want to get her out. Too much blood on the hands. It's her game to lose at this point.
I agree.
I think once it gets to the final four of like literally the Oz twins and her, and then it's kind of just like whoever wins stuff, and she's a good winner.
Yeah,
And they're
absolutely.
All right, let's see what else we got. We have Holy Gagaloo. That's fun. Okay, who would work with the BB house? Wait, who would work?
Who would you work
Who
with?
would you work with in the BB house if you were to re-enter right now? And that's us.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm
Oh,
going
just
to
us?
direct
It
this
says,
to Ashley
it says
and
all of
Jen.
us. The stream's asking
All
everyone.
right.
Who would
Ryan,
you
we'll
get?
start with you.
I'm going to go back and agree with what Derek said last week. Like the ideas of thinking about Steve and James, because they're really loyal guys. The type of people that you can also persuade their votes. So you can like get them on your side, and kind of the same thing he did with Victoria last year, where he just sort of like kind of kept using her and kept persuading her and kept tricking her, and then, he won.
Well, I'd have to work with Austin because, I'd have to just like float my way.
You're saying if the
No.
twins weren't in there, or
Yeah.
like if you were in there and the twins were in there?
No, I'd still want to work with the twins, but I'd need a strong alliance.
I was going to say the same thing. I would go, like as Clay said this morning, I'd go work with Austin, Julia, and Liz, because that's what the numbers are. You're going to have 3 votes on your side.
And they're strong.
I don't know. I feel like I would always wanted to work with Steve and Johnny Mac, so I think I would just still do that. Because I don't think that I'm going to be ahead of anyone on the Oz twins and Vanessa, so I'm 5th. No, I'd be first.
Need to be first. Jen, you're
Oh, I
number
see
one in
what
our
you're
book.
saying.
Do you guys, I think that's a question I was thinking about. Do you foresee Julia trying to make any moves here down the road?
Well, she decides to start playing the game, maybe. I mean, she has yet to win anything.
No, okay.
'cause
So
she's
I
gonna
was
end up being
watching
third.
Big Brother After Dark of Julia today, and Liz looks at her and she's all, "Get your head in the game." And then Julia's all, "I'm not going to spend all my time just playing this game. I have a happy life out here, and I'm not going to spend all of my time doing that." And she's like, "Woo!" And she kicked her leg up. She just doesn't want to play the
She's
game.
a very
She doesn't want to, because it's like if
just-
you're always enwrapped in it, it's like it could be frustrating. So she doesn't even want to.
I like her carefree attitude.
Yeah, no, actually, I liked her from that simpleness. I was like, oh, cool. So she just is there because she's a twin. And her sister wanted to audition them.
But she makes one move, and then suddenly she's taken out a power player, and she's in the finals.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
She doesn't even need to do that.
Big Brother is a lot of luck.
Yes.
I think so.
So much luck. It's very unpredictable. It can change so quickly.
What else is happening? Do we have any others?
All right, we got one more. We got Kevin B. Dean. Why does no one realize the twins and Austin are going to easily be top 3 if someone doesn't break them up? Stat.
Again, we've been saying this every week. I don't know why they're
I
not being
think
targeted
they do
more.
realize it.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing they can do about it at this point,
Yeah,
because they
'cause they don't wanna
waited
be the
so
one.
long to be the ones to take them out, and they haven't even had a situation where anyone's in power to do it. I mean, Steve with the double eviction, and then since then they've been running the house.
Well, this coming week in the double eviction, if it's James that wins HOH or Meg, but that's a long shot. They could easily take them out because on a double, everything's gonna happen fast. You're not getting as much blood on your hands. You don't have as much time to talk about it. So they could get a power player out this week.
Austin
Right,
and Liz have
and-
to go up. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine this. Say it gets to the very end and then Meg wins a comp. And then she's in the final 2 and she wins because she's so likable. It happened to Jordan. It can happen. It's just like everyone's saying
that's her
Vanessa.
plan.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
thing is, I do like Meg. There's something about her that I like, but just as a player, it's very irrelevant, I feel. She's not really playing a game.
Well, then at the end of the day, it's like as Jordan, where everyone's just like, yeah, Jordan just won because she was nice. Like, she didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, did she do anything?
Yeah,
she did.
but that's Big Brother. There's tons of personalities just to see how it's going to
Who cares?
go.
Totally.
However you win, you win.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you're tweeting us all week with hashtag BB17AS. We got it all covered here. Make sure you tune in next Friday at 11 also. See you guys later.
And in case.
Bye.
guys.
Love you, fans.
For more Big Brother After Show on the stream.tv, click that button and subscribe.